Hey warriors, welcome to Empowerment and Illness. I'm Gwen, your host, and I'm glad you're here. If you've ever heard someone say, lupus is so unpredictable, you're not alone. In fact, I used to say the same thing. There were days when I woke up feeling great, and by lunchtime, I could barely keep my eyes open. There were weeks when everything seemed to be going well, and then out of the blue, a flare would remind me that lupus was still there. After living with lupus for more than 30 years, I've come to look at it a little differently. I still believe lupus can surprise us, but I've also learned that our bodies often leave clues before those surprises happen. The challenge isn't that our bodies aren't communicating with us. The challenge is that most of us were never taught how to recognize what they're saying. Today's episode isn't about predicting the future. It's about becoming a student of your own body. Because when you begin to understand your body's language, you start recognizing patterns, noticing changes sooner, and making decisions with more confidence instead of fear. So, let's begin learning the language of lupus. When we learn a new language, we start with vocabulary. We learn what words mean before we can put them together in a conversation. Living with lupus is no different. Your body has a vocabulary, and every symptom is trying to communicate something. The more familiar you become with those words, the easier it becomes to recognize what your body may be telling you. Let's start with one of the most common words in the lupus vocabulary: pain. Pain isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a dull ache in your hands. Sometimes it's stiffness when you first get out of bed. Other times, it's swollen joints that make opening a jar or buttoning a shirt feel like a major accomplishment. The important question isn't just, do I hurt? It's, what kind of pain is this? Where is it? When did it start? Has anything changed? Those answers give you something to compare the next time you notice a change. Another word you're probably familiar with is fatigue. Lupus fatigue isn't the same as feeling tired after a busy day. It's the kind of exhaustion that doesn't always improve with a good night's sleep. It can feel like someone unplugged your battery. As you begin learning your body's language, you may notice that your fatigue has patterns. Maybe it follows a stressful week. Maybe it appears after you've done too much. Maybe it arrives before other symptoms begin. Recognizing those patterns give you valuable information. Then there's brain fog. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why? Lost your train of thought in the middle of a sentence? Struggling to find a word you know. Brain fog can be frustrating, but instead of becoming angry with yourself, begin paying attention. Is it happening more often? Is it connected to fatigue, stress, poor sleep, or a flare? Again, you're collecting clues. Other words in your lupus vocabulary might include dry eyes, dry mouth, sun sensitivity, rashes, fever, hair loss, or neuropathy. Not every person with lupus will experience every symptom, and they won't all happen in the same order. That's why comparing yourself to someone else's lupus journey can be frustrating. You're learning your body's language, not theirs. The goal isn't to memorize a list of symptoms. The goal is to become curious. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Begin asking, what is my body trying to tell me? Once you begin learning your body's vocabulary, you're ready to see how those words fit together. Recognizing individual symptoms is an important first step, but one symptom rarely tells the whole story. The real value comes when you begin connecting the dots. Instead of looking at pain, fatigue, or brain fog as separate events, start asking yourself if they're connected. Sometimes your body is giving you a message one clue at a time, and it's only when you step back that the picture becomes clear. Think about it this way. You wake up feeling more tired than usual. Later that day, your joints are a little stiffer. The next morning, you notice your eyes are burning, and by the afternoon, you're struggling to concentrate. On their own, each symptom might not seem significant. Together, they may be your body's way of telling you that something is changing. Learning to recognize those connections can help you prepare instead of being caught off guard. Connecting the dots also means looking beyond your symptoms. Ask yourself what was happening before you started feeling different. Were you under more stress than usual? Have you been sleeping well? Have you spent more time in the sun? Did you recently fight off a cold or another illness? Did your routine change? Did you miss a medication or start a new one? These questions aren't about blaming yourself. They're about becoming more aware of what may influence how you feel. This is one of the reasons I encourage people to write things down. Our memories aren't always reliable, especially when we're not feeling well. A journal, a symptom tracker, or even a few notes on your phone can help you see patterns that are easy to miss. You may discover that your fatigue tends to increase after several nights of poor sleep, or that stress consistently shows up before your symptoms become more noticeable. Those are valuable observations to share with your healthcare team. The goal isn't to predict every flare or explain every symptom. Lupus doesn't work that way. The goal is to become familiar with your body. The more dots you connect, the more confident you will become in recognizing when something is changing. And once you recognize the pattern, you're ready for the next step, deciding how to respond. Learning the language of lupus is only half the journey. The next step is deciding what to do with what you've learned. Recognizing a pattern doesn't help much if you don't have a plan. That's why I encourage every lupus warrior to think ahead. When your body starts speaking, you shouldn't have to figure everything out in the moment. You should already have an idea of how you will respond. Your plan doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with asking yourself, what has helped me before? Maybe your body is telling you it's time to slow down. Maybe it's reminding you that you've been pushing too hard or not getting enough rest. Maybe it's time to review your symptoms, check your medication, or contact your healthcare provider. The important thing is that you make intentional decisions based on what you've learned about your lupus, not reacting out of fear. One of the biggest mistakes we can make is ignoring the whispers until they become screams. Our bodies often give us small clues before a problem becomes bigger. Those whispers may be increased fatigue, more joint stiffness, headaches, brain fog, or changes that seemed minor at first. The sooner you recognize those clues, the sooner you can decide on the next step. Sometimes that next step is resting. Sometimes it's calling your doctor. Sometimes it's simply paying closer attention over the next day or two. This is also where personal records become valuable. When you keep track of your symptoms, medication, lab work, and appointments, you're not just collecting information, you're building a history of your health. That history can help you and your healthcare team make more informed decisions. It's one of the reasons I created the paper trail and our journals. They aren't just notebooks or binders. They're tools to help you recognize patterns, prepare for appointments, and become an active participant in your own care. Remember, the goal isn't to control lupus. None of us can do that. The goal is to be prepared. Every pattern you recognize, every question you ask, and every note you write down adds another tool to your toolbox. Over time, you'll find yourself responding with more confidence and less panic because you've learned to listen when your body speaks. That's what it means to respond with a plan instead of reacting to the unknown. If you've ever tried to learn a new language, you know you don't become fluent overnight. At first, every word is unfamiliar. You have to stop and think about what you're hearing. You make mistakes, you ask questions, and sometimes misunderstand what's being said. Learning the language of lupus is no different. It takes patience, practice, and a little willingness to keep learning. There will be days when you don't recognize what your body is trying to tell you, and that's okay. There will be days when you think you figured it out, only to discover something new. Lupus has a way of keeping us humble, but every appointment, every journal entry, every conversation with your healthcare team, and every experience adds another word to your vocabulary. Over time, what once felt confusing began to make more sense. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is permission to be a lifelong student of your own body. Don't compare your journey to someone else. Your lupus has its own story to tell, and your body has its own language. What triggers a flare for one may not affect another. What helps one person recover may not work the same way for you. That's why your observations are so valuable. As you become more fluent, something else begins to change. Fear starts to give way to confidence. Instead of wondering, what's happening to me? You begin asking, what is my body trying to tell me? Instead of feeling powerless, you become more prepared. You may not be able to prevent every flare, but you can become better equipped to recognize the clues, respond thoughtfully, and work with your healthcare team to make informed decisions. So I'll leave you with this thought. Lupus may always have something new to teach us, but that doesn't mean we have to live in fear of the unknown. Every time you pay attention to your body, connect the dots, and respond with the plan, you're becoming more fluent. And the more fluent you become, the more confident you'll feel navigating your journey, one conversation with your body at a time. Set aside some quiet time this week with your journal. These prompts are meant to help you notice your direction, not judge your pace. As you reflect on today's episode, ask yourself, what symptoms do I experience more often? Have I noticed any patterns before a flare or when I'm feeling my best? What is one thing my body has been trying to tell me that I may have been ignoring? What information would help me have a better conversation with my healthcare team? This isn't about finding all the answers today. It's about becoming more aware of your own journey. Every observation you make is another step toward understanding the language your body is speaking. For our listeners' action plan, this week we're asking you to take 3 practical steps toward learning the language of your body. Step 1. Start paying attention to your pattern. Write down your symptoms, your energy level, your stress level, your sleep, or anything else you think may be affecting how you feel. Step 2. Look for connections instead of isolated events. Ask yourself, what happened before I started feeling this way? Sometimes the answers aren't obvious until you begin connecting the dots. Step 3. Choose one tool that helps you stay organized, whether it's a journal, a calendar, an app, or a simple notebook. Find a system you'll actually use. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. Small observation made consistently can lead to meaningful conversation with your healthcare team and greater confidence in managing your lupus. And now, a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Empowerment in Illness. Learning the language of lupus starts with paying attention, and one of the best ways to recognize patterns is to write them down. That's why we created the paper trail in our collection of journals. The paper trail helps you organize your medical records, lab results, medication lists, appointment notes, and other important health information in one place. Our journals are designed to help you track symptoms, identify patterns, prepare for doctor visits, and become a more active participant in your own healthcare. The more information you have, the better prepared you'll be for the conversation that matters most. Be prepared. Don't panic. And now, back to the show. Before we leave, I would like to close with a special portion of the show I call Healing Heartbeats. This is where we allow ourselves to wallow in sorrow. Give yourself 3 minutes to laugh, cry, scream, cuss, or just sit in silence. Whatever you need to do to feel it, do it. Let the depression in for only 3 minutes. Once you've reached 3 minutes, compartmentalize it and get back to living. This is a rinse and repeat behavior. You cannot let depression take over, because when it does, it will not let go. When we hear about the passing of someone, they have the day they were born and the day they pass away. There is a dash in the middle. It's not a long line, but a short dash. That dash represents your life. Go live in spite of having a chronic illness. Don't let your condition stop you. I hope today's episode encouraged you to start looking at your lupus differently. Instead of only reacting to symptoms, begin looking for patterns. Your body is communicating with you every day. The more you pay attention, the more familiar its language becomes. Becoming fluent doesn't happen overnight. Every symptom you track, every journal entry you make, every appointment you attend, and every question you ask help you better understand your own journey. The goal isn't to predict everything. The goal is to recognize the clues so you can respond with confidence instead of panic. If today's episode encouraged you, please share it with someone living with lupus or another chronic illness. Together, we can continue empowering one another through knowledge, support, and lived experience. If you're looking for a way to organize your medical information and identify your own patterns, be sure to check out the paper trail and our collections of journals from Empowerment and Illness. They were created to help you stay organized, recognize patterns, and become a more informed advocate for your own care. Remember, you have the strength, the heart, and the support to continue your journey. Be safe.